If you're an author or plan to be one, get excited because this podcast is for you. Book Marketing Mentors is the only podcast dedicated to helping you successfully market and sell your book. If you're ready for empowering conversations with successful marketing mavens, then grab a coffee or tea and listen in to your host, international best-selling author Susan Friedman.
Listeners, I'm excited to share some good news. Podcast Connections is our brand new episode sponsor. If you feel your book deserves more reach but visibility hasn't come easily, podcast guesting can open the right doors. The team at Podcast Connections gets you in front of the audiences who need your message and your expertise. If podcast guesting is something you're interested in, please contact them at podcastconnections.co and tell them you heard about them on the Book Marketing Mentors podcast. And now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Book Marketing Mentors, the weekly podcast where you learn proven strategies, tools, ideas, and tips from the masters. Every week, I introduce you to a marketing master who will share their expertise to help you market and sell more books. Today, my special guest is John Ray. John works with consultants, coaches, attorneys, fractional executives, and other professionals who sell expertise. He helps them diagnose and express their value, price accordingly, and build business through trust, not pressure. He's the author of the 5-star rated book, The Generosity Mindset, which redefines generosity as a professional asset, not as giving everything away. John, what an absolute pleasure it is to welcome you to the show, and thank you for being this week's guest expert and mentor.
Thank you, Susan. I'm delighted to be on your show. I'm a big fan of it. I listen to it all the time, and I've learned a lot from it and from you, and I'm delighted to be on. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm thrilled that you're here. And only a few weeks ago, you were interviewing me. So we're turning the tables around, which I always love. One of the things that I always find with my authors is that they've done the work, they've got their expertise, and then when it comes to pricing, something holds them back. What's that about? Why is it that we have such a hard time pricing ourselves, our services? And I've been through this, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, guess what? I have too. That's why I'm passionate about it. I had the same problem. And I came out of corporate, thought that I knew a whole lot about business, and I did, but I didn't know how to price my work as a business advisor. I didn't know how to price my expertise. And I found that a lot of my clients didn't know as well. And so that's what got me passionate about this subject and led to ultimately writing the book. But to answer your question, here's the issue. The issue is that I liken it to bad next door neighbors. We've got our expertise that lives right between our ears, and the bad next door neighbor are the mindsets that hold us back. The mindsets of things like imposter syndrome, the mindset of comparison, the mindset of inadequacy, I'm just not good enough, the mindset of helping, I want to help everyone. I mean, those mindsets hold us back when it comes to understanding our value and pricing to that value.
We're going to dig down deeper into that. I'm checking all those boxes as you listed them. I'm like, okay, been there, done that, got the T-shirt. And it's taken many years, especially the imposter syndrome, which I didn't realize was a thing until I found a book many, many years ago called The Imposter Syndrome. And I was like, oh my goodness, you mean other people have this issue? It's not just me?
Yeah. Well, there's a certain amount of imposter syndrome that's healthy, just a certain amount, because it shows that we're pushing, right? That we're expanding our horizons. But too much of it holds us back. I mean, when we're constantly thinking we're going to get found out because we're frauds, that we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, naturally that's going to affect how we think about our value and how we price that value.
Yes. And I mean, there are lots of famous artists who go through this. I mean, Oprah Winfrey herself has even admitted to it. And I think Meryl Streep and, some of the greats in the business. And yet they do it despite that.
Yes.
So when a client comes to you and you identify some of these mindset obstacles, how do you go about helping them overcome that?
Well, here's the good news. The good news, it's not about what we think. It's about what clients think. See, clients are the ones that write the checks, right? We don't. What we have to lean into is understanding the value that clients see in our work. And the only way we can do that is to have effective value conversations with them, value conversations that help uncover where they see value and their anxieties, fears, hopes, dreams, what they're looking for to make their lives better, and the value that they see in that transformation. And when we understand that, that has enormous value to them, and that value is much greater than the value that we see. And this is the big, hairy, audacious idea in my book, you might say, is that clients see more value in us than we see ourselves. And so once you understand that and lean on that, it's not about what we think about ourselves. It's about what clients think about us, and leaning into that value and pricing to that value.
Yeah. And that's a really hard one, especially when you're first starting out. And as I told you before we went on the air, I remember when I started out in the training business, I thought, well, let me price my services lower than my competitors. And I was, quite dramatically lower. And I didn't get business. And I was like, I wonder why. And then when I discovered, I was like, oh, when it comes to training, people don't want cheap.
No.
In fact, they'd rather pay over because they're thinking, if I pay more, I'm going to get more. So address that if you can.
Oh, wow. That's a great one. Here's a great example. I'm in Alpharetta, just north of Atlanta. I was driving down the street the other day, and there's some vendor out with a truck selling 20 ribeyes for $40. $2 ribeyes. Who knew? I mean, now when you see that sign, what do you think? There's something wrong. Something wrong with those ribeyes, right? The same thing happens when we try to discount our way into attracting clients. They look at the price sometimes and they think there's something wrong with that. It's too good to be true. There's no way that John can deliver those services at that kind of price. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for transformation. I'm not looking for a bargain basement experience. I'm looking for something that's going to work. That's why you have to understand pricing is a marketing signal. It's a signal of both quality and it's a signal of inferiority.
I'd never thought about that, but that is dramatic. Very much so. So keep going with that thought because I like it a lot. And I think our listeners will too.
Well, this is why we have to reframe the way we think about how we get to price, is that price and value always need to be paired. And the way to pair that is to understand that it's all about client perceived value. It's not about the value we see or how we define it. It's about how clients define it. And clients are looking at what is the value of the outcome? What's the value of the transformation that I expect to receive here? And if we are having enough conversations with clients to understand that, and those conversations go deep, by the way, if we're having enough conversations with clients to understand that, then we can speak to those needs, hopes, wants, desires, fears, anxieties, and trust grows, and our ability to price more effectively grows as well.
Yeah, and I found that over the years, I feel comfortable raising my price a little bit more and a little bit more, and I believe that I'm worth it. But it's taken a while to get to that point. I didn't go from 0 to 100 just like that. I mean, I had to do it incrementally. Is this the kind of advice you give your clients? How do
Yes.
you talk to them about that pricing? I mean, because they've got to start somewhere. And it's like, where do you start?
Yeah, that's a great question. The where I start with is, don't start with the price. Let's start with what clients say about you. I mean, one of the things that I start with is I pull reviews and testimonials, and let's look at what clients say about you. And what they say are a lot of things that they point to are intangibles. Susan makes me feel comfortable. Susan explains complex topics in a way that I can understand. Her work helps me sleep at night. I don't have to worry about it anymore. These are intangibles that have tremendous value to that person. They're unique to that person. When you see that, it kind of removes the scales from your eyes in terms of how to define value, because it's not just in the deliverable. Because there's a lot of folks out there that can be a business advisor or a coach or a consultant. There's tons of people that can do that. There's only one Susan that can deliver peace of mind and deliver your service in the unique way that you do it. And so that's where I start, is identifying intangibles that show up again and again in how someone works with their clients.
And that's so important. And you're right. How somebody else looks at that. Is it going to be worth it for me to invest X thousand dollars in working with John, Susan, whomever? It's thinking that, and we get so wrapped up in ourself. And I think this is what I'm hearing from you, is that, and this happens so often, that we come so self-centered about it that we don't look at what other people think. And that's where you're turning the tables and saying, hey, you look at it from their point of view in terms of, would they feel that hiring you would be worth X number of dollars?
Yes. See, it's not about us, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying that to demean our work at all. What I'm saying, the exact opposite, is that if we have what I call a generosity mindset, what that means is getting out of our own heads and getting into the heads of others and where they see value. And when we do that, it changes everything about our business. I mean, let me give you an example. I was in corporate, big, ugly bank, and we used to deliver these presentations that was more about us than it was the client. I mean, page after page after page of this beautiful PowerPoint about us. And I'm a big believer in, when I deliver a proposal, I'm talking about that client. I don't have anything about my credentials in there. I don't have anything about me. I don't have my photos. I don't have my book. I don't have any of that, because if I'm having to talk about that at that point, something's wrong. That proposal is all about them. It's the situation that they're in, the context they find themselves, what I'm seeing, and the options that I recommend for them. And that kind of mindset changes everything about your business development and ultimately your pricing.
That was a great segue into talking about your book, because the generosity mindset, it speaks volumes. So you're giving us a lot of your philosophy, the concepts that you teach. One of the things that I find with authors is that they're reluctant to give stuff away. Now, what's the difference between that generosity of giving stuff away versus not keeping it all to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Do you come across that?
Oh, only all the time.
Only all the time. That was a bit of a rhetorical question,
Yeah,
I know.
That's right. Well, it comes up for all of us, right? And I'm not saying don't ever give anything away, but what I am saying is be strategic about it. The important thing is that you have a sustainable business, and to have a sustainable business, you have to price effectively. This is just a business basic that a lot of us had just never absorbed because we've never been taught that. Pricing is really important aspect of this. If you are in a mindset where you're giving too much away, then if everything's free, then you're sending a signal of inferiority, back to what we were talking about earlier. That said, I think it's really important for service providers to share their knowledge. I share a whole lot on LinkedIn and on my blog and what have you in terms of teaching, because the truth of the matter is that that's how I build trust. People need to see that and see how you think and see how you do what you do. It's why I have a podcast. People hear you and they see what you do. That generosity of giving knowledge actually comes back to benefit you over the long haul. So there's a balance here.
Yeah, I had a mentor many years ago, and he said the mentality often is if you're giving this away, what is she going to give me if I pay for her? It's like this thinking, okay, so she's willing to give this away, but hey, what do I pay for? So yes, talk to us about that.
Yeah, and I'll just tell the authors out there, here's the way I look at my book. Well, let me back up and just say I'm a big believer in giving options. So good, better, best. Good being the basic and best being your premium kind of Lexus version of what you do. I look at my book as like the lowest option somebody can hire me for. If you can't or don't want to pay to hire me directly, buy the book. Now, here's the thing about the book. It's written for a wide audience, and it's not going to apply directly to you. If you wanted to apply directly to you, I can help you with that. You just have to hire me. That's the way that I think authors ought to think about their book, is that their book is their really their low priced offering for people that want to engage with them. Does that make sense?
It does. And I'm, constantly preaching the fact that the book is a tool to help open doors. If its role is to help you get speaking engagements or to help coaching or training or any other products that you want to create from it. But the book is just that. It's not going to do, as you rightly said, it's more of a general approach. But if they want something more specific and tailored to them, which is what people want, I always say I never offer any kind of cookie cutter way of doing things. I'm going to work with you based on what you need, not what I would give everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I had, I guess, about a dozen or so beta readers for my book, and one of them hired me. After reading the unpublished version of my book, she said, "This is so great, I need to hire you." I mean, what better story than that to illustrate that the book leads to revenue for people that want to go deeper?
Yeah, it's not about selling books. Listeners have heard me, oh, there she goes again. She
right.
said that a dozen times.
Here goes Susan. Yep.
Yeah. On her soapbox.
That's right.
But yes, it's realizing that, yes, you're not in the business of selling books. And that's such a hard one because you have this product and you think you have to go out and sell it. Mm-hmm. But it's this awareness building, it's authority building, expertise to show the world that you have that. And that they're not going to get it just from the book. They're going to get a certain amount of your brilliance from the book, but not everything.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing. This is somewhat of a punchy way to say it, but my book is 15 pages, something like that. If everything I know is in 215 pages, nobody should buy that book. It's just that simple. I mean, the truth of the matter is everyone listening to this podcast that has written a book knows a whole lot more than what's in their book. A whole lot more. They know how to apply it in a lot of different ways in different circumstances, because not everything got in the book, particularly if you've got a good editor. And I had a great one in mind. Not everything gets in the book. You're not giving everything away by putting it in the book.
It's interesting because I literally yesterday had this conversation with somebody about the size of the book. And I'm saying, you're not writing War and Peace. You're not giving them everything that you have to give, which is exactly what you're saying. because, nobody wants to sit there and read so much. In fact, I just read something last week that said small books are coming into fashion, the sort of 40, 50, 60-page books, because our attention span has gone, we just haven't got it the way we used to. And we can thank the computer, AI, whatever we want to blame for that or thank for that. But the fact is that people don't have the attention span. There's so much noise out there. So less is more.
Less is more. Yes. And I just interviewed an author, PhD, who just released a 47-page book. And the value of that book, which I gave a 5-star rating to, is that he attacked a very select topic, and you knew exactly what you were getting when you bought that book. You didn't have to go hunt for what he had to say about this particular topic. And so, yes, I can see why these books that are more focused, maybe is the word to put on them, are getting more popular. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, it does, because you're right. If it's addressing something that's specific, and then he could potentially have a series of books on all these little topics that he's just going in depth. And that would be brilliant. That would be a brilliant marketing strategy. Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. In fact, yes. I mean, if a reader loves an author, they're going to want more from that author. And if you give them everything all at once, it's like giving them a banquet rather than just a meal just to satisfy them for now. And then they can come back for more and for more because you've got so much more brilliance to share with them.
Well, yeah, that's right. And we underestimate how much we have to share sometimes.
I think you're right with that. Yes. I mean, we do. I think in all of this, I think if we were to put a theme on this, whole conversation is just totally underestimating ourselves, what we can deliver and the value of that. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. And we underestimate it because we keep focused on ourselves and our own self-worth. I mean, think about it this way. When did you have a situation, maybe when you're growing up in school or a young adult, where someone said something to you about you that you didn't see yourself, where they saw a quality of you that you didn't really think about, that, hey, you did such a great job in making that hard to understand situation so easy for people to follow, or you're so mature beyond your years, or some compliment like this. And see, this is a teacher or a mentor, a grandparent maybe. They see more value in us than we see ourselves. And the same thing works with clients. And that's why I argue for leaning into that and getting out of what we think and getting into what they see.
Yeah, which is a perfect segue, John, into you telling our listeners more about you and the incredible work that you do with your clients. So take it away.
Well, thank you, Susan. Yeah, so I work with coaches, consultants, fractional executives, anyone that sells their expertise and has trouble with all the stinking thinking, I guess as the old saying goes, that holds back your pricing, your business development, your positioning, that really has caused a professional's business to really plateau.
Yeah.
And I help folks reposition their thinking. And the book is one place to go for that, but also work with clients directly.
Perfect. I love that. And I'll put a link to your website and to the book in the show notes. And John, as you know, we always have our guests leave our listeners with a golden nugget. You shared so much already. Have you got a little extra golden nugget you can share?
Yeah, I think when you make it about others and you really live into the idea that service is something that is about others and others first, what you find is that the universe has a way of giving back to you the fun part of life is it comes back in ways you can never imagine to begin with. So if you give freely, make it about others, understand them first, help them in ways that may not help you in the near term, and some of it will, but it always comes back to you, and you'll be regarded as a professional of value that people refer to and reach out to frequently.
That's beautiful. Yes. And also believing in yourself. I don't think you can survive these days if you don't believe in yourself. But again, as you say, is giving to others, but also giving to yourself as well,
Yes.
which is so important. So
Absolutely. Thank you.
Beautiful wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing, John. It was great to have you here. And listeners, if your book isn't selling the way you wanted or expected it to, let's you and I jump on a quick call together to brainstorm ways to ramp up those sales, because you've invested a whole lot of time, money, and energy, and it's time you got the return you were hoping for. So go to bookmarketingbrainstorm.com to schedule your free call. And in the meantime, I hope this powerful interview sparks some ideas you can use to sell more books. Until next week, here's wishing you much book and author marketing success.